Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm just going to do a quick update on my Hellzerker Amara for Mayhem 10. Now I'm not going to go super in depth because nothing's really changed. So first I'll just go over my tweaks on my skill tree. So, green tree, it's the same. I'll take my class mode off actually, just so it's a bit easier to read. Personal space, 3 points, it's V2 damage, it's really good. Take it. So, blue tree. Now, I've one tweak here, and that is I have moved some points in from Alacrity over to Restless. Now, two reasons for this. Mayhem 10 is quite difficult, so having more one-hit kills on my Ties That Binds available. Ties That Binds is an action skill that you're going to use the moment it comes off cooldown. The frame it comes off cooldown. So, even if, like, with all of our action skill boosts on top, the points in Restless is like a quarter of a second, that's still good. I will take that. If I can get my one-hit kill half a second earlier, I'll take it. So I've moved some points over the Restless, and I've taken them out of Alacrity because a lot of the new meta-y weapons don't have long reloads. They're quite short reloads, the weapons that I've been using. So 3 in fast hands and 1 here is sufficient, I have found. Of course, these are floating points between these two skills, and you can move them wherever you want. And then everything else stays the same, you know, from Rest Laid Bare Wrath, 1 point in Remnant, it helps deals with drones depending on what modifiers you play with, and then Avatar. And then over in Red Tree, a few tweaks here. One, I've completely obliterated the use of Anima. As our weapons get more and more powerful, any self-dot will get more and more powerful, so I just really hate that. If you want to play with Anima, it's a really good skill. It will kill enemies. It is powerful, but it's just that risk. I play aggressively, I hit myself a lot with my own dots, so Anima is just not an option for me. If you want to take Anima, take the points out of Wildfire and Infusion. Speaking of Infusion, Infusion was buffed, so it now gets affected by Sustainment. And this is really good, because it means we can use non-elemental weapons now. And I haven't really felt held back by this, even though I don't have Blight Tiger unlocked. If you personally do not like Infusion, that is 100% fine. Run 1 point and put the rest into Wildfire or Anima. I've even done Illuminated Fist in the past, but melee doesn't scale, so that's kind of dead now. So yeah, that's just kind of my stance on Infusion. It's still a personal take, so just a heads up there. And then everything else is the same, you know, Tempest, Dread, Deep Well, Indiscriminate, Sustainment, and Forceful Expression. So nothing really changed in the spec there. Now, in terms of, like, the guns and stuff, so my Hellzerkers are the same. I'm still using this level 51 here. I use the Snowdrift Otto's Idol. I prefer the Otto's Idol just because it gives me a little extra survivability, and I do play with Roguelite, so, survivability is good. But, Snowdrift, Victory Rush is just as good. It's Piss Grenade. I use this just because it's a good debuff tool, and grenades don't scale, so it's like, what do? If you're using consecutive hits annoyance, then Hexes here is good, but I don't use that annoyance too much. Then as a shield, Old God's a good offensive take, a Transformer is a good defensive take, and Recharger or Stopgap are both good defensive ones as well, but I like the Old God for that offense. Now, as for the guns, the meta got shaken up quite a bit. Now, weapons like your Anarchy and the Brainstormer, Krakatoa and Lob are gonna do really well still. However, there's a lot of new weapons that I've been using that are just kind of like taking up the mantle. So we got the OPQ system here. It's a non-elemental gun, which is why it's good with Infusion. And this thing's really powerful. It does do a bit of splash damage randomly, which is really powerful, but it kills me quite a lot. So I only use this in like certain situations, mainly versus COV mobbing, where I want to be a bit further back anyway. And it's a really powerful gun. So get this, it's from the new event, Cartel event, temporary drop. The Sandhawk Katagara Jr. on Mayhem 6. You can farm it very easily with Ties That Bind Amara. I farmed it with a Chaosin, just one bursting every single time, just like 2-second runs with this thing in Ties That Bind. Really strong. You don't even need anoints. And that's how I farmed up my Sandhawks. So this one is, I'll often open a fight with this, so I'll phase grasp the first enemy, shoot it down with the Sandhawk, and then I'll swap to the Chaosin. Or the OPQ system, depending on who I'm fighting. Chaosin I like against weaker mobs. It's just really good at just killing lots of smaller mobs. but against tougher enemies like anointed enemies and badass zealots, the OPQ system, it tends to get me a little further. But yeah, Sandhawk, super strong, but it's not very ammo efficient. Definitely not. The no PP is pretty fun. I wouldn't call it a top tier weapon though. The Monarch's really good. I know it's really good on flak for bossing, but I haven't really gotten super much out of it on Amara yet. But I know it's a good gun, you can farm this in Kilovolt. The Brainstormer. The Brainstormer's been replaced, so I painted this one green because the one that you're going to be after is green. It's the Greenstormer, it's the Reflux, you can get it from Genevieve. It's exactly the same as the Brainstormer, only it's corrosive, and it does over 1,000 more damage per pellet. This thing only has 1.2 thousand damage per pellet. It's nearly double the damage. So even though it is corrosive and not shock, the Reflux is just a straight upgrade to the Brainstormer, and I don't have mine on me at the moment, it's on my flak, but yeah, the Reflux from Genevieve is going to be your go-to. Now, of course, if you're not out on Mayhem 6 yet, then the Brainstormer is still going to be the best mobbing choice for you. However, if you are above Mayhem 6, definitely go after a Brainstormer, a Reflux, because it's the same gun, but better. And then the Yellow Cake, I don't really need to say anything here. It's the new, like, top dog weapon. It is probably one of the most overpowered weapons in Borderlands 3 so far that we've had. Basically, it's got a sweet spot, and if you hit that sweet spot, nothing can survive. It's just ridiculous, and you can get it ×2. This isn't even like a top tier one. It can roll ×2, yeah, like 44 ×2 or something. It's stupid like that. And yeah, this thing will be one-shotting mobs. I had a healing pool one, so non-damage anointed, and I was one-shotting Tron. So Yellow Cake's really good for the tougher badasses, mini bosses, and just straight up bosses. The Sandhawk I use for tougher badasses and mini bosses, and sometimes big bosses as well, if the Yellow Cake isn't, if it's like an airborne target or something. And then I use the OPQ system for just tough mobbing and chaos and for everything else. Now, unfortunately, the 7th Sense has not scaled because it's a mission reward. I'm very sad. And yeah, basically from there, you know, Plague Bearer, Recursion, Anarchy, whatever you want to use. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying the gameplay. This is just Hellzerker Amara. It is continuing to stand the test of time. You know, we made this build, what, like a month after launch, and it's still going strong, so happy about that. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
juggling. I'm unstoppable. For a moment, I thought you might be a challenge. Let's go around, huh? Shoot that one and thank me later.
Together, family!
Stop! Ready to unleash this power! This is so goddamn sublime!